Welcome to the Mojo Market Report. Here's your hosts, Dave Sturchio and Chris Gueci.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Mojo Market Report right here on a Wednesday. It is Wednesday, March the 22nd, 2023. Hope everybody's doing well out there. As always, it is Dave Sturchio. It is Chris Gueci back in the building for another loaded episode. Before we get into all the NFL stuff, we got a jam-packed NFL segment because Daniel Jeremiah of NFL.com dropped his mock draft 3.0. That gets up to about like 5.0, and that's like the final. Because look, he has to take into consideration the trades and the rumors and maybe a free agent signing and this, that, and the third. So he's got a lot of stuff going on, but he dropped his 3.0 mock draft yesterday. I definitely want to get into that because there's a couple things that kind of stood out to me that kind of raised my eyebrows. Like, oh, okay, well, what's that about? And obviously the NBA will cover some of your prop bets last night. Big loaded action. We're down to like 8 to 11. Like, I don't know how this works because there's no games that get canceled. But schedule makers, maybe you can explain this to me, that some teams have 11 games left, some teams have 8. You know, like, how is it a 3-game difference at this point in the season? Like, where did we go wrong? Like, I mean, somebody start way early? Like, you know, like, I don't know.
3 games isn't really that big of a difference over the course of...
That's like a whole week's worth, I feel like. Because if it's a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or maybe there's a couple back-to-backs in there. But, like, I looked at the standings this morning, and I'm like, all right, these guys played 73 games already, and these guys just played their 70th. And I'm like, well, there's still...
But if one team could have 3 days off and then the other team has 1, and then a week later,
I guess.
So
I'm sure it'll all work itself out, right? But anyway, did you catch the World Baseball Classic last night? The finals, the championship game between Japan and the USA.
I didn't see the entire thing, but it was on as I was kind of doing things.
The general consensus is that not a lot of people watch this, but then the general consensus based off ratings and attendance. People went and watched this. It's so weird. I feel like it's right down the middle.
It basically doubled the numbers that it's ever done before, which is kind of telling.
Well, 2017 there was one. 2020 it was canceled.
Yeah, but
so it's been 6 years since the World Baseball Classic was even able to be played.
But it's nonetheless post-COVID and all the other things going on. It still doubled its attendance. Doubled
over a million people.
And I think that the last record was like just over 500,000. So yeah. That's obviously a great success. They're never going to stop doing it now. So anybody out there that is complaining about it, I mean, I'm not necessarily a fan of the World Baseball Classic, but I don't necessarily think that anybody should really have any right to complain about it. It's the player's choice.
The only complaints you're going to see are the people that lose guys to injury.
Understood. But
and the Diaz thing is a freak thing. So it's like all Mets fans saying like, cancel the damn thing.
And then
like,
they're the same people that say if you're a quarterback at certain spring in preseason, you want preseason games eradicated.
And they're already down to 2, so they were at 4 now.
You can get hurt playing baseball in preseason too. So it is what it is. These players earned the right to compete for their country, I think. So it's just a fan thing. If it's for the fans and the fans seemingly like it because they're spending their money to go there, Major League Baseball is not going to stop. Because of the risk of an injury. Even the owners don't care. The owners are getting paid anyway.
Well, I did hear something on the way in this morning saying that there could possibly be the only thing that can really stop some of these superstars from playing in this thing is
they put it in their contract.
In the contract, right? Like saying like, hey, we're about to give you $1 trillion.
That was the Sauce was saying. He's like, I don't understand all the hate. If you don't want your star player playing in these things, put it in their contract. They won't. It's very simple.
That's it. Judge did it on his own accord. He wasn't told not to for the Yankees, but then there was a bunch of Mets. The only Yankee representation was, I think, on Team Venezuela. It was Glaber playing over there.
Look, these guys play in the Dominican League all year, like the Winter League. That's what they do. These are baseball players. They like to play baseball.
Do you think
I'm not going to stop a guy from playing a sport?
Yankee talk for a second. Do you think Glaber Torres did himself a disservice by playing over there because now all Yankee fans want Volpe in there and all these young kids? And I understand they don't play the same position anymore, but like, you know what I mean? Like, are guys that were on the fringe, like there's a lot of people out on Glaber Torres, and all of a sudden the Yankees showed a bunch of young talent out there. I know they don't play the same position, but I'm saying
Glaber could have lit it up, and then it would have worked in his favor.
But Ohtani was.
I'm not holding it against anybody.
Ohtani's a freak. He's incredible. Just to see what this guy's able to do. The 100-mile-per-hour slider, just really twisting up one of the best players in baseball, and Mike Trout last night. He could have leaned into a couple last night. I feel like he could have Roger Dorn the crap out of a lot of those balls, but he just, these guys want to play ball, and that's fine.
Yeah. Let's worry about injuries.
Are you excited
and then
about?
Let's lean into one. What are we talking about here? Imagine Mike Trout leans into one and Ohtani breaks his elbow.
They hit Nolan Arenado like 15 times throughout the tournament. Like he just kept getting hit with a baseball. Curious to know your thoughts about the new rules that are about to come into effect. Today, as a matter of fact, I think they're making the official announcement of what rules are actually going to stick and be implemented into the regular season and what aren't. One being the pitch clock is the topic of conversation a lot. I know this is a football and basketball show, but it's sports. This is where we're at.
I think what they should do, I don't mind the pitch clock, but when there's 2 strikes, gotta go.
Yeah.
Gotta go.
Yeah.
Gotta go. And like understanding that the pace is going to be set based on the previous pitches in the at-bat. So I don't think that the strike 3 or when there's 2 strikes on the batter, I don't think it's going to affect it in such an adverse way because of the game flow.
So you're saying got to go, like you can't implement it during 2 strikes?
Yeah, like you can't be calling guys. Could you imagine what's going to happen if we have
It happened in spring training.
In spring training, it's fine.
No, but I'm saying Game 6 of the World Series.
But you can't. It's like, are you going to keep it for just a regular season? In the playoffs, it goes away.
Dude.
But even in the regular season, there's huge moments that you just can't have that be the thing.
Right.
And then there's really no arguable thing either.
Right, because there's the clock's a clock. You can't argue the clock.
Are they going to start to have this like unwritten thing where umps don't enforce it on these things? Like you have to be chalk if you're going to do it because it can't. It's like you're taking the human element out of this one where it's like, time's up, bro. But if we're going to run it like we're running the delay a game thing where you give them an extra second sometimes.
That little
like
beat,
a little judgment.
a little beat, right.
I don't know about it, man. I have to see it play in real life, but
it's going to take to the first one.
I hope we don't.
It's going to be the first.
That's the only thing that I don't like.
Regular season game where somebody gets called strike 3 because he didn't either get back into the box on time.
Conversely, I don't think you should be walked either. I think there's got to be a different way.
Hear me out.
Take your base. What?
Leave it all alone. Leave it all alone. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But people are saying baseball's broken. People say that the young generation is not watching.
Well,
they got to speed up the game.
I did see some numbers in terms of like a lot of the things that Major League Baseball was looking to happen did happen.
Right.
The runs are up. But also, could we talk a little bit about something else here? Do you know how fast it took for Major League Baseball coaches and whatever you want to call managers to figure out how to shift anyway?
What do you mean? How do you shift anyway?
Like
you can't go past second base, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can't in your infield. But like, if you don't need a third baseman and a shortstop, do you really need a left fielder?
So they're bringing them. They're just moving them.
They're just taking no left fielder.
Wow. I didn't think about that. So on the grass, as long as you're on the grass.
I don't think Major League Baseball did either.
Wow, you're like my oldest grandson. You don't think things through. So that's that.
Joey Gallo got up and they were like, and he like saw it happen. He was like, "What's happening?"
Well, you're telling me I'm not going to bat 250 this year? Hold on. Poor Joey Gallo. Anyway, Daniel Jeremiah's mock draft 3.0 drops yesterday. Very interesting stuff. A lot of chalk, but a lot of movement where I'm just like, okay, hold on, hold the phone for a second. Because now all of a sudden, I don't know if you're hearing this or the rumblings, that Lamar Jackson is on the outs now, officially with the Ravens. Like, and it said, like, the time has come. And all of a sudden, will there be a team to pony up the first 2 round picks? Your 2 first round picks. Try that again. Will there be a team? Now there's rumblings about the Vikings all of a sudden being involved in the Lamar Jackson sweepstakes. I did hear the Patriots, but I'm just like, that doesn't make any sense. They brought in Bill O'Brien to coach Mac Jones. By the way, Mac Jones isn't as good as Bailey Zappi, and Zappi wants to start. That's another story for another day. But all of a sudden, I'm looking at this mock draft, and I'm like, Daniel Jeremiah is definitely not taking into account that the Vikings might trade their first-round pick away for a Lamar Jackson, so we'll see.
Look, do the Vikings even have the financial flexibility to do that right now?
I don't know, but expect Justin Jefferson's numbers to plummet. If Lamar Jackson is your quarterback in Minnesota, expect Jay Jetta to be a very bitter, angry man, especially come contract time when he's about to get his extension.
That I can somewhat agree that he should probably do a little bit worse. It's crazy to say that we're looking at Kirk Cousins as a better passing option or statistical option for Jefferson because I don't think anybody on earth thinks that Kirk Cousins is a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson, right?
Full package? No.
But I do understand what you're saying, but we have not seen Lamar with an innovative new version of like what the NFL head coach is. John Harbaugh is very mundane with his approach, very vanilla. They're trying to get 100 rushing yards a game. They were literally doing that. He's got a different approach. I don't know. Maybe Lamar, if you like, take the training wheels off a little bit in terms of the passing game, he might surprise you. He does have a season where he put up monster numbers.
He won MVP for that reason.
So it's possible. I hope Lamar goes to Minnesota.
I don't know if you want to deal with scrambling around with him for 2 times a year.
I have no issues, bro. Like,
None.
I have no issues. They're going to trade Dalvin Cook probably, or maybe not now that Buffalo's got a running back now, right? Didn't they sign somebody?
I mean, yeah, with Damian Harris from New England.
Were they going to trade for a third running back to push everybody down the depth chart?
Well, I will tell you, this mock draft tells a story. So look, number 1 overall, Bryce Young. Look, the pro days are this week. It's Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Will Levis. They're all throwing this week. Today, did you see a couple of those passes? And there's not 32 better quarterbacks. No, you're right. There's like 45 better quarterbacks than Cam Newton right now.
I mean, I'm not here to bash Cam.
I am.
But I'm about to anyway. I think he lacks a self-awareness, and I think you need to be confident, but you also need to be understanding is that, yes, there are definitely 32 better quarterbacks than you.
Did you see that meme that came out, by the way?
No. Maybe I have.
The 32, there's not 32 quarterbacks better than me, and there's just a list. It's like a big picture of all the quarterbacks in the NFL that are on teams, but like Rodgers is in Jets colors. I won't say what Watson is. That's quite funny, but I won't for ratings purposes. Also, like Kyler Murray's picture was like a lot smaller.
I've done those. I've done those Kyler things.
Yeah, those are great. Anyway, Bryce Young going number 1 overall to the Panthers. So the Panthers shipped that entire haul over to the Bears to get their guy. They want Bryce Young. Chalk, C.J. Stroud goes to the Texans. Now, the Texans are kind of, quote, loading up. I don't want to call it like, oh, I can't believe all the talent that just went over to Houston. But they did get Dalton Schultz. They did sign Devin Singletary to boost their running game behind Dameon Pierce. So that's not a bad supplementary back to have.
So they got a tight end that can't block and a running back that can't really run.
So they're loading up, and then they trade Brandon Cooks. They did sign Noah Brown, former Dallas Cowboy. I feel like the Dallas Cowboys guys are like, look, I'll leave, but I'm just going to go about 3 hours down the road to Houston. Yeah. And good luck to those guys. Look, I'm not one of the ones that bash my former teammates for trying to – teammates, listen to me. Former members of the team I root for. But, it is what it is. The money after all.
These days, bro.
The Colts at 3. Now, remember, I'm going to be doing offensive players only. So there is a bunch of defensive players that I would want to mention, but I'll mention one of them. The Colts at 3, Anthony Richardson. So they get their guy going forward. Gardner Minshew probably to start that season off as the starter.
Can't see that at all. Top 3 going 1, 2, 3 quarterback.
No. I just said yes. I'm sorry. The Colts might be at 4. I'm sorry. Yeah, Colts are at 4. So it's 1, 2, 4 quarterbacks. The third, I believe, is the best offensive lineman in the game, in the draft. The next one is one Jalen Carter. So did you see his pro day?
Yeah, he's like 20 pounds. I think he was 8 or 9 pounds heavier than he was at the
You're talking about a guy that ran into the trouble with the law and obviously dealing with all that crap with the media and then showing up to your pro day not looking at your best. But according to Daniel Jeremiah, he's going to still go in the top 5 of the NFL draft.
He's got his pro day, but he's also got that film.
Oh, the film is, he's always going to go to 5 to Seattle. That's going to try to bolster their defense, considering the fact that their offense is going to be good running through Kenneth Walker III, and then you have, obviously, Geno on his new deal. You still got DK. You still got Lockett. You still got the offense that you had in place, adding one of the best defensive players in college football to your defense, and Seattle kind of shocking a bunch of people. The only reason why Seattle is in this spot is because of the pick they got for Russell Wilson. So that's why they had a decent year, and I expect them to be a little better this year. The first receiver off the board goes to the Titans at number 11, Jackson Smith-Njigba from Ohio State. Add a receiver to that team. It's a big deal because after losing A.J. Brown, they just couldn't find their way at all, right? I mean, that's
Treylon
Burks is...
So he could find his way a little bit, but I think that there's a couple of issues there. I mean, I've talked about it at length. He did light up the Packers.
The day after we talked about it.
But that's the only thing he did all year, I think.
We shorted him literally that Thursday show.
And then he lit it up.
He went nuts. First, now here's the big thing. The Patriots now, you know how Bill Belichick and Bill O'Brien run their offense. They love to run the football, right? So I'm out here mocking, we're talking to Mike Renner of PFF about a week ago, right, on this show, and he said that Bijan to the Cowboys at 26 made sense. Well, Bijan goes to the Patriots at 14, according to Daniel Jeremiah.
Was that during the combine when we talked to him?
I think it was right after.
Because those combine numbers, when I looked at them, I mean that 40 time is what.
Oh, he's lightning.
There was questions a little bit about his speed.
No,
those are gone.
He put him to bed.
I don't want to, but I will anyway. I mean, I'm sure you might not mind it. There was a pre-draft visit yesterday with Bijan and the Eagles.
I did see that. It does. You know what it is? It doesn't worry me because I look at Bijan Robinson as, yes, he could be a freak of nature. He could be a great athlete, but is he going to be that much more of an improvement over a Miles Sanders his prime?
Let's be real here. So, to my estimation, there's a chance that he can be. If he turns out to be something even close to like AP,
that would have to be that's a big jump. Meaning, like, I think the Eagles are at 10 or 11. Like that, you're telling me they're going to take him with their first pick?
I mean, when we're looking at a guy that may be a talent like an AP, I feel like AP went 8th, I think, overall that year, and nobody was really complaining because he was just that good.
And he lasted about 20 years.
Yeah, so if it's somebody and he has an MVP, so that's rare.
Who?
AP.
AP won MVP? What year was that?
People get so mad when I say AP. They're like, it's AD all day.
No. It's AP. It's Adrian Peterson. Do the math. Wait, when he won MVP?
Didn't he have 2,000 yards that one year with like 20 touchdowns rushing?
I mean, it's been a long time since anybody outside of quarterback won MVP. That's why it's just kind of curious. But it wouldn't surprise me, as Chris looks it up. It wouldn't surprise me at all because Adrian Peterson, no matter where he stopped, even in his later days, was one of the more explosive physical backs in the NFL. So
yeah, 2013.
Nice. Okay. Wow. Damn.
So
10 years ago.
So like I don't know that we'll ever see another running back because the running back position has been so devalued. Like even I don't know whose tweet it was, but I saw somebody tweet out and it was very interesting tweet to me where it's like,
was it me?
Never seen anything like this. How like just NFL running backs later in their careers now they're trash, and it was a Zeke thing. This was all stemming from Zeke. I don't even know if the guy was a Cowboys fan, but he was just kind of pointing towards the fact that like we didn't used to do that with NFL running backs that were Hall of Fame caliber, where it's like
the Frank Gores of the world.
Yeah, like this Emmitt Smiths. When these guys were at the tail end of their career, they weren't considered trash. They were still considered legends.
Oh, that's the world we live in.
It's the social media age.
Yeah, it's the world we live in.
It's really running backs. I guess it's quarterbacks too.
Not really, because you got guys like Matt Ryan still trucking out there. Everybody's like, oh, he's trash. But then, like, if in a pinch, Matt Ryan can come in and sling it. I think, look, I'm being a Matt Ryan guy for a long time.
Give me a guy that could scamper.
Get on out of that pocket.
I do not want Matt Ryan as my backup. You're in trouble. You want to come coach, Matt? Come on down.
The Commanders take the first tight end off the board,
your time.
Dalton Kincaid. So the Commanders trying to beef up their pass catchers over there. Now, here's the first interesting one that I was like, oh, look at that. So the Buccaneers, they signed Baker Mayfield. They got Kyle Trask, Tom Brady on the outs. According to Daniel Jeremiah, Will Levis falls all the way to 19 where the Bucs could take him. They would run to the podium.
I think they might trade up in that situation if he's there around 15.
Just stack them up. I didn't see Will Levis getting past the Raiders. But if they think that Jimmy G, did you see that interaction, by the way?
Yeah, it was so bad.
It's so cringe.
I didn't think Jimmy G had it in him, honestly.
Jimmy G showed some character yesterday, by the way. But yeah, so with Baker being over there and Trask being over there, none of those two moved the needle for me. But if I got a chance to get Levis, I'm in.
All that means is they're desperately in need of a quarterback.
100%. And a little bit of a fire sale.
And a head coach after
So remember that time I told you Seattle drafted Jalen Carter, who slipped to 5 as their best defensive player. Seattle, again, according to this mock draft, take Jordan Addison at 20. So they get another pass catcher to stack on top of DK because did DK get paid yet?
Yeah.
He did? Mm-hmm. Lockett did too.
Everybody, all the receivers get paid.
Yeah, but
it's
you
crazy,
add a Jordan Addison, forget it. And that's the same thing I say with the Chargers pick.
I would say that if they add Jordan Addison, it's a fair assumption that Tyler Lockett will be on his way out.
Makes sense.
Soon.
But the Chargers at 21 basically say goodbye to either Keenan Allen or Mike Williams at some point because according to this, they're taking Zay Flowers, the wide receiver, at 21. 23 was the one that really, really got me going. because of the fact that we saw, or at least I heard some of the rumblings about Lamar Jackson to Minnesota, the Vikings at 23 jump to the podium and take Hendon Hooker to be their future quarterback. Now, look, we all know Kirk Cousins. We all know his story. We all know his abilities and the ability to either win games in a pinch, win close games. To me, Kirk Cousins has always been like properly rated according to some, but then like so overrated according to some. And then when like the conversation with him being better than Dak, I was like, I'll stop it. You know what I mean? Like, at what? Is that the Mason line right there?
No, it's a lateral move.
Well, Hendon Hooker or Dak and Kirk?
Dak and Kirk Cousins.
You better stop that. Put some respect on 4. But Hendon Hooker, again, coming off the ACL, it's rough. But if he had a year to sit behind a Kirk Cousins, then maybe you consider this. You know what I mean? So that would be a completely new look offense for the Vikings if Hendon Hooker was the guy. Then guys got Jefferson and who's their Osborne and their running game, whatever that shakes out to be. Hendon Hooker to the Vikings is the most interesting pick on this thing. And then, of course, Mike Renner's pet cat, the one that he likes the most, Quentin Johnston, goes to the Bills at 27. So he slips all. I believe he wanted Quentin Johnston all the way at like 11 or something like that. And then he slips all the way to the Bills at 27. Imagine Stephon Diggs and Johnston catching balls from Josh Allen. The Bills get Bills-ier. Like they get way better than what they are. So I'm just mock drafts are my favorite thing in the world, especially around now because again, sports are going to start.
I don't know if I see
deteriorate
5 quarterbacks going in the top 23, but then again, we could have 4 quarterbacks gone in the top 9, which is absurd.
Yeah, I'm the one I'm really compared. The ones that intrigue me the most is Levis to the Bucks. And then obviously Hendon Hooker to the Vikings.
I can't see Hendon Hooker going that high, though, with the injury.
After the injury? No, I can't either. To me, I thought he was going to be a day 3 guy. You know what I mean? Like a 3rd rounder or something like that. Like, again, the guy was in line to win Heisman. He was the best quarterback in the nation before he goes down. Or one of them, at least.
If Caleb Williams was... He would be the number 1 pick.
Can't wait to see who tanks or doesn't tank, but like just like it's like don't worry about it. We got this guy on the way. He's on the horizon. So anyway, that's the mock draft. Go check it out. It's on NFL.com right now, for sure. So let's move on over to the NBA. Last night, some of your liquid props, some of my liquid props that decided to hit. I only played 4. 1 went down, but I do want to bring up something real quick. This is going to take me not a minute to pull up, but. Because my Twitter's been blowing up because I retweeted the trailer for the new Power Rangers movie last night. So that's been blowing up like crazy. You going to see it? It's morphin' time, Chris. It's morphin' time. Where is it? Here we go. So Adam Kofler, who, by the way, does content for Mojo, does a little writing for Mojo, and he's also Rotoballer, Better Fantasy. He's on the Action Network. He's everywhere. He tweeted out last night that it was right here. Here we go. Sabonis last night had 9, 8, and 5 in the first quarter. Like Sabonis played really well. He winds up with 16, 13, and 12. 16 points, 13 boards, 12 assists. So Sabonis did incredible. Unfortunately for his Kings, they dropped to Boston last night, 132-109. My liquid props, however, I hit on Jalen. Remember, I'm always on the overs. I never go under. It's something. I like points, so let me just go over. Jaylen Brown was set at 3.07 3-pointers made. Bang, hits 4 in their win against the Kings. Jason Tatum, who was set at 29.73 to score. That was his points total. He goes for 36. The Boston Celtics had a great night. In fact, they needed this. They needed a great night because now you look at the Boston Celtics, who have already clinched a playoff spot. They're sitting there 1 game ahead of the 76ers with just 8, 9, 10 to play. So it's getting down to the nitty-gritty here.
I wonder if they play.
I can check, but Donovan Mitchell was set at 27.5. He goes for 31 as the Cavaliers drop. I'm sorry, the Cavaliers beat the Brooklyn Nets 115-109, so that's a big win for them as they try to solidify the 4th, which I said yesterday was going to happen. I think the Cleveland Cavaliers are entrenched in the 4th. They're going to play the Knicks at the 5, and that's going to be your first-round matchup, which, again, I'm looking forward to, but I'm totally not looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough
Donovan Mitchell went for 31, so he hits, as I said. Kawhi Leonard, 28.24, he gets 21, so he does not hit. OKC beats the Clippers yesterday, 101-100. Huge game there. But again, Lakers, Pelicans, Jazz, Timberwolves, Thunder, Clippers. Ready? They're about 2.5 games separation. And that's literally the 5th seed all the way down. Is it the 5th?
11.
The 5th seed all the way down to the 12. is a 2.5 game race, man. Like this, every NBA game in the West is going to mean so much going forward. And that's, again, you play these games. I always said like the most meaningless basketball is the regular season of the NBA, but right around now is when I'm like, all right, never mind. It's actually pretty good. So let me look at the schedule tonight. The Knicks play the Heat. That's a good one. Dallas plays Golden State. That's a good one. Philadelphia has to bounce back. They lost to Chicago the other night in Philadelphia. They play them again on the home and home, so that's going to happen. Let's see. Milwaukee's going to get themselves a win. Memphis and Houston, that's going to be easy for them.
Fade Milwaukee tonight.
The Kings and the Kings and the Suns. The Milwaukee's playing freaking San Antonio. They haven't won a game in 4 months. The Los Angeles Lakers and Portland should be good because the Lakers all of a sudden were in the 9 spot for a little while for that play-in spot. Now they find themselves on the outside looking in based off the tie-breaking procedures. So the Lakers, who are awaiting the Kings' return, and we're not talking about Sacramento, we're talking about LeBron. So that's going to be interesting. The last couple weeks of the NBA season are going to be just incredible. So we shall see how that all shakes out. Do us a favor right now. Follow us on social media. It's the Twitter, it's the TikTok, and of course, it's Instagram at Mojo, M-O-J-O. Very easy to find us. And of course, join the Discord. That is the easiest way to do things, easiest way to find out who's in, who's out on what guy and who's shorting this guy and whatever. Taking a quick look at the Mojo app, which again, it just gets better and better every day. It's just such a clean app to use. It's so easy and intuitive. Even your father could probably use it. Jaylen Brown went up 37% in the second quarter.
Oh, no.
What?
My dad might not.
Your dad's not going to be able to use it?
I'll have to do it for him.
Ready for this? Here's a nice little update as we end the show. Big bet alert. Big bet alert.
Jordan Love.
Hit the thingy. $1,000. Kareem Hunt. 8-time multiplier. Is he close to landing somewhere?
Probably.
Because wherever he lands, he definitely will rise, you would think, right? Because nobody's going to sign Kareem Hunt to not be one of their featured guys. Can't sit there and be a supplemental back.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's the next decent back to sign. I don't think there's any other decent backs besides him left.
And I just want to show you guys a little bit of this action within 24 hours. You probably can't see that. Yeah, you can. There's a little spike up, and then it levels out because after the spike, my boy, Jake Ferguson, tight end for the Dallas Cowboys. His stock goes up, my bank account gets a little fatter, and we're good to go over there. So, thank you guys for watching today. We'll be back tomorrow, obviously, with all the latest on free agency, latest on the NBA race. And, of course, we're about a week away from Major League Baseball opening up, so that look for those liquid props to start dropping periodically as the season rolls on. That's the plan, at least. Obviously, keep your tabs on the app. So, for Dave Sturchio, Chris Gueci, this has been another episode of the Mojo Market Report. I'm from Boston. The Mojo Market Report, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Show's over, guys.
Show's over, guys. Bye.